Hello, so today I thought I'd do a video about the portfolio that got me into Sheridan's Bachelor of Animation program. Here's my score sheet, and I got in with a 91. For my year, which I applied in 2022, the domestic cutoff was 87 and the international was 91. So let's start off with the figure drawings. The requirements is usually 4 drawings, 2 gesturals, and 2 longer poses. So the gesture drawings are usually around 1 minute to 3 minutes, and the longer poses are usually from around 5 minutes to 10 minutes. For gesture drawings, you want to do what the name entails. You want to really show the gesture of the figure, so you really want to sell the action and the motion, so keeping a focus on your S and your C curves. You don't want to put too much attention on detail and structure because that's not what they're looking for. And also no shading. For the longer poses, since you have more time, you'd want to focus more on your structure and your anatomy, making sure that your proportions and your limb attachments are all correct. You can do a little bit of shading just to show the form, but not a lot because you really want to focus on the figure. Overall, for figure drawing, I'd say to get started early. I thought I was okay because I knew how to draw anatomy, like with a pencil in my sketchbook, but trust me, 𝚘𝚘 is a huge learning curve. You really want to start getting used to the medium as early as possible. Also, make sure that you study anatomy, whether that be from drawing people outside or from anatomy books, just to make sure you really understand how things attach with one another, like how the limbs connect to the torso or how your head connects to your neck. It will definitely help you draw a lot better, and in turn your figures will look a lot better as well. So the next section is the hand drawing section. So the requirements for this part was we basically had to have 2 drawings of a hand throwing an object of some sort. I would suggest having your hand in a 3/4 view where you can show both the back side and the front side of your hand, just to show that you can draw both sides. I would say draw construction because it really shows that you have a good understanding of the hand and how the hand is constructed. So just having boxes just to show where the hands and the wrists meet and where the fingers align. Also, any part of the hand that you can't really see, I would still suggest drawing through just to show you have a good understanding of the hand. So anything that your fingers cover or any construction that you might not naturally see. And overall, I would just say the more practice you do, the better you'll get. So just drawing hands from like various angles, various poses, different kinds of hands will help you get better understanding and of course make your drawings look better. So next up is character design. Basically the requirements for this part was we had to design a character that we like, and then we had to rotate it 4 times. My number 1 tip would be construction. I know I've been saying this a lot for the other sections as well, but this one in particular, it's very important. I usually rotate the character through the construction, whether that be from their hips or from their head. So just having the construction down really well will really help you rotate your character and keeping it consistent. I would also suggest flipping back and forth between your drawings if you're doing it traditionally, and if you're doing it digitally, using like the animation feature and scrubbing through each of the 4 frames will really help for you to see if there's anything that's inconsistent or anything that looks wrong. Honestly, have fun with this section. You can show your creativity, and the biggest thing is just designing a character that you like. Don't try to overcomplicate it because you will have to be rotating this and you don't want to make yourself do more work than necessary. So just have a character that you would enjoy draw. Animation. I think I had the most fun doing this part of the portfolio. Basically the requirements is that they gave us a model sheet of the character they want us to animate, and we just have to create a really short animation under 48 images about this character moving. For this section, just keeping on model is very key. Making sure your object throughout your animation is very consistent. I would also say really demonstrate your knowledge of the 12 animation principles. Really selling that squash and stretch and really selling the motion. Once again, I would say just try keeping it simple and don't do too much with the object. Just try to really show that you understand the animation principle. Keep your motion clear. Animation in itself is storytelling, so making sure that people know what you're trying to do with the object. Now for storyboard. This is called the storyboarding section, but it honestly is just beat boards because you only have 4 panels to showcase a story based off a prompt that they give you, and they also give you a character model sheet of the character that they want you to use. You really only have 4 panels to showcase your story, so keep your story simple and make everything very clear. Be sure to show your story to your friends or your family, anyone that can give you a good opinion, and for you to know if your story is being read very clear. You want to keep on model for the character, making sure that everything stays consistent, and just using basic storyboarding theories. So just utilizing the rule of thirds, having a various amount of camera angles to really sell the story. You can use like an upshot, downshot, things like that. Try not to reuse camera angles and one to make sure that each beat is very clear and it's very distinct from one another. And next up is the layout section. So basically for this part, we just had to create two drawings, one of an interior layout and one of an exterior layout, with both layouts having a character within it. I feel like this section is also another part of the portfolio where you can have a lot of fun and you can experiment a lot. I feel like designing a layout that you'd really enjoy drawing and you'd really like experimenting with is very key, because this portfolio process is a lot, but you really do want to enjoy the process of it. I would suggest designing your layout with your character at the same time, because you want to make sure that everything fits in the same universe, because you want to make sure everything looks cohesive and that the character belongs in the layout. Nothing looks too odd or outstanding. You also want to have a distinct midground, foreground, and background, just so you can give your layout a sense of depth and it just makes your layout look a little bit more pleasing. And especially for the interior layout, you really want to have a place that really reflects the character's personality and who they are, so it's just a little bit more of the storytelling aspect. Like my character, she's a little bit more messy, so you could see that she has more things out in the open and just things are a little bit more cluttered. Now for the exterior layout, you once again want to have very distinct foreground, midground, and background, and just keep your line quality consistent. Of course, like things in the background, you can make them a little bit lighter so you don't draw too much attention to them, but don't really worry too much about how thick your lines are, especially for the foreground and stuff like that. Just keep it consistent, and also utilize the rule of thirds. Don't have major points of interest dead center because it's just a little bit boring, so put things off more to one side. It just gives a little bit more interest. And for the exterior layout, I would really recommend having things that you can show perspective, like rocks and mountains and trees like that. I would avoid going for like beaches or like desert, things that are really flat, because it's really hard to show perspective. And personal art. This section is really the section that you really want to show the professors who you are, what you're interested in, and what your drawing style is like. I really would suggest having a good variety of things. Like you could stick to a certain theme if you have like certain things you'd like to draw, but experiment with mediums, or you could experiment with different compositions and different styles and things like that. Show that you have an interest in other things and you don't stick to a certain style. You really just want to show the professors that you like drawing during your free time, and drawing isn't something you just have to do, but it's like a passion. You want to show them what you're interested in. And if you don't know exactly what to put in your personal piece section, you can always include some compilation of your sketchbooks. Just having like a couple pages to show that you draw things in real life, like you take your sketchbook with you and drawing some people in the streets or some stores or some food or anything like that, just to show that you really have a strong interest in drawing and that you're someone that brings your sketch around, and also that you're someone that notices life and notices things around you, which is a very strong trait to have. Even though this section is really a place for you to showcase who you are, try to keep it minimal in the sense where you don't want to overpower the professors. You want to show them your best work, because your portfolio is only as good as your worst piece. You don't want to be compiling a great amount of work. You just really want to be showing your best and your top work that you really are proud of and you really want to show them. So yeah, that's pretty much it for my portfolio video. If you guys have any questions, just leave a comment and I'll try my best to answer them to the best of my capabilities. And currently for this year, I'm running a one-on-one portfolio prep tutoring class, so if that's something that you're interested in, I'll have all the details down below. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found it helpful, and good luck to anyone that is applying to Sheridan Animation or any art portfolio programs, and I wish you guys the best of luck. Thank you for watching.